All right, day 6, I think this is already at the penultimate day of our challenge, and I've got a nice musical exercise for you today. We're going to be combining chords and fills in kind of a soul Jimi Hendrix kind of a way. This is something that I like to do all the time, and I think this is a great exercise for getting these kind of ideas into your playing. So let me show you the exercise to begin with. It goes like this. So you can see that we've got a simple chord progression and we've got some little licks or fills attached to those chords, and this is something that I do all the time. It's something I'm always talking about in my videos, this idea that you can have licks and melodic ideas attached to chords. It's quite important, I think, to associate those two things, and I think this exercise is a good way of getting this stuff into your brain and under your fingers. So let me show you what's going on. We're basing this in the key of G. It's really just a simple 1-4-5 kind of chord progression, going from G as the 1 chord, playing this as a 6-string root bar chord at the 3rd fret, going across to a C chord, that's the 4 chord, and then moving that shape up 2 frets for the 5 chord, that's a D. So 1, 4, 5, G, C and D, and I'm establishing this rhythm to start with. So this is a combination of kind of bass notes and then accents on the higher strings. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So playing the bass notes and then you have a nice snappy accent on the higher notes in that chord. And then I've got a little fill which fits that G major sound. A very classic kind of soul type idea. So I'm associating it with this chord shape, and it's starting on this B note here. This is the 3rd of the G chord, so it's a chord tone. You can actually just slide up into that note from this chord. So I'm on this chord and then sliding up from the 5th fret up to the 7th fret. That's the major 3rd. And I've got this double stop. This is the 5th fret on the 4th and 5th strings. Then hitting that B note again. And then I've got this kind of Hendrix-y hammer on. So I'm playing that double stop, and then I'm slamming down my 3rd finger at the 7th fret on the A string. And you want to allow the 4th string to keep on ringing as you hammer down. You don't want to mute that note. So you've got 2 notes ringing at the same time. Then we're coming back to the double stop and then this B note. So that's our fill. And then you can put those two things together, the chord and it's important to get that in time. We've got a bar on the chord and then a bar on the fill. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1. And you can just practice that on its own to start with, just to get comfortable with that. When you're ready, you can then take it round the chord progression. So now we're doing exactly the same thing, but off of this C bar chord shape. So it's the same rhythm. This fill is really exactly the same as the one we just played, but moved over onto the next set of strings. So we're sliding up. This is again hitting the 3rd of the chord. So this is a C major chord, sliding up to an E note. That's the major 3rd. And then we've got the fill. So it's this idea that we've got a chord and then an associated fill. So you know that whenever you've got this grip of chord, you can just slide up along the 5th string, and then you've got that fill right there under your fingers. it's the same thing off of this D chord. And then at the end of the pattern I'm just coming back home. And just to turn it around I've got G to C, then back to G. So you can just do that. That would be the first half of the exercise. I did in fact go around one more time with some slightly different fills. So this is some more useful vocabulary. So the second time through I played this. Again, very Hendrix-y, this kind of sound. So we've got the chord exactly the same. Then this kind of idea. So we've got this double stop, 2 and 3 on the G and B strings. And then I'm putting down my third finger at the 4th fret on the 3rd string. So you've got this sound. Very Hendrix-y, this sound. And I'm playing this G note here, 5th fret on the D. And then back to our double stop and hammering down my 3rd finger. So if I put that together with the chord, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Then we can take that round the chord progression. So moving to our C. And the fill here is on the top 2 strings. So barring at the 3rd fret on the top 2 strings. And then putting down my 3rd finger, 5th fret on the 2nd string. 5th fret on the 3rd string. Then I'll double stop and hammering on. So with the chord, move that up 2 frets to fit the D, and then back home. So that's the exercise. It's a really useful and musical exercise. I mean, yes, it does sound a little bit wooden if you're playing it like that. You're playing the chords and the fills exactly the same way every time, but that's the exercise. Of course, when you're playing actual music, you can kind of loosen up and you can improvise with these ideas a little bit, maybe make the timing a little bit more swinging and flexible, and it will really start coming to life. So let me end by playing this with the metronome, and I've got a metronome down here set to 90 beats per minute. So have some fun with that, and I will see you tomorrow for the final exercise in this year's challenge.